What's good, people? Spud here, and welcome to episode 64 of the Roundup. In today's episode, we're going to be looking back at the Call of Duty games from the weekend that we've just had. As Falcons have a decent weekend, other teams struggle. We do have a roster change as well. Teams like Surge picking up a win as well. As obviously only the top 10 will go to Birmingham for Major 2. We're doing our predictions for next week's matches as well, of course. And we are going to talk about Rainbow Six. Briefly, as FaZe did win the Major, so congrats to FaZe. And also, what we're going to call Siege Showdown 1. A little bit of custom game action with myself included. We're going to talk about that on this episode. I never thought I'd ever speak about my own gaming in an episode, but we are. I know that most people that will watch this episode will probably be here for that instead, which is completely fine. If you are new though, please do subscribe to the channel, it's free, and like the episode if you enjoy. But as always, we will start with the Call of Duty stuff. So let's just get straight into it. So we had the matches this weekend. Start Friday. We start with Surge versus FaZe. What a game we had here. I'm being sarcastic if you weren't aware. 3-0, simple enough. Yeah, not really much else to say about that, to be honest. Well, really isn't much for me to talk about this series. FaZe win comfortably. The S&D, yeah, it was 6-4, but FaZe were always in control of this series, as you'd expect. Vancouver Surge this year just aren't the same. And again, that's kind of what you'd expect. You wouldn't expect it to be any different. But it is still disappointing seeing Surge, who had such a good year last year, just not be the same team because they got rid of everyone. And like, yeah, I get this is what happens for the lower orgs, but like this roster they've built is just shit. They've already had to make a change. Are they gonna get champs qualification this year? I can't see it, but well, you never know. Then we had Falcons Cloud9, and going into this one, I expected a comfortable win for Falcons, but they did lose the S&D. It was a comfortable series, but Cloud9 did pick up their first map as a team. If you look at the stats, though, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, not ideal. 1.4 on the other hand from Celium, 1.3 from Exnid. Good showing there from everyone on the Falcon side. But a team like Falcon should be comfortably beating a team like this. So it's not really a surprise to me that they won, but yeah. At least Cloud9 have got a map on the board, but I can't, honestly, I don't know if they will win a game. I'm really unsure if they will win a series. It's a shame that I'm saying that, but it's just how I feel. Then we have Koi versus LA Thieves here. And obviously Kips versus Nyum. Pretty decent series. This one wasn't a slamming. The hard points, yeah, comfortable wins for the Thieves, I would say. Round 11 in the S&D here. And a 4-1 win for Koi in the Overload. But if we have a look at the S&D stats, I mean, Joe Thieves is obviously normally the main point of this team in recent seasons. So you do kind of expect them to ultimately do better here than they have. But nonetheless, this was a good showing from Thieves. Overall, if we look at the stats here for Thieves, Nym, a bit of a rough one, but this is for me. I just don't see there being a massive difference between him and Kenny, but that's just me. There's still a long way to go with this team, so we'll have to see. Abizi though, obviously he's also been in the spotlight recently for poor performances. He has a 1.22 here, but it's Scrap who has that damage. He's farmed the damage there, and he also had the most kills in the lobby. So he'd actually be my MVP. Obviously, they typically go the viewers typically vote for MVP who's got the best KD ultimately, the majority of the time. But for me, Scrap should be MVP for that series. And the final, that was all for Friday. Then we start with Saturday, and it's Koi versus G2. And with how Koi have played recently, and G2 haven't been that bad, I expected that G2 would probably win this, but we actually get a 3-0 here from Koi. Unfortunately, no highlights here, because I actually was going to show you round 11, but that's fine. Insight with a 1.33 and actually high damage. That's good shown from Insight. Kips with 68 kills. 1.3 from Jaw. Kleenex neutral. On the other side, Mamba with a 0.67. Kremp 0.79. Yeah, honestly, Mamba had a really bad weekend, but obviously even in the second series, which G2 win, Mamba did not have a good weekend. His space as Rookie of the Year, though, obviously, spoiler alert, he is still going to be the Rookie of the Year for now. But obviously there's a long way to go. For Rookie of the Year debate. And then we have Thieves versus Breach, and this is where Boston Breach, we already knew they were in a bit of trouble, but oh my god, 6-0, 7-0 on the two dens. Snoopy with a 0.59, Cammy with a 0.58. This team, bar nasty, is fucking shite. They got third at Champs last year with Awakening instead of Nasty, which again is just crazy. How they finished third at Champs. Yeah, this was a slamming though. Scrap with a 1.55, good showing from Longneck there. Absolute machine. But yeah, obviously Breach needed to make a roster change. They end up making a roster change because of their series that happens on Sunday. But thankfully for them, they've made that roster change now. And yeah, it might only be one where, for me, they should have got rid of Cammy and an SMG, or both SMGs. Nasty for me is the only good player on that team this season. But Snoopy and that started off okay, so like I understand why they've probably kept him, but yeah. Even then, like Breach are a bit of an underwhelming one. Obviously, in the past they spent money and then they did shit, and then they obviously almost went bust, and then stuck it out for another season, and it worked out. Like I get that, but still at the same time, I think it's been pretty underwhelming this year for them. And if they want to obviously make champs, they needed to make a change, and that's what they've obviously done. We'll talk about the change in that though after that other series, because we have the third series on Saturday, which was Paris Mates versus the Ravens. And the hard points were pretty close here, but it was a 3-1 win for Gentlemates. Sib though with a 0.65, a very rough series from Sib there, -37. His teammates bail him out though. Lurks 1.17 there, pretty good shot. But if we actually look at map 4, because that's what I want to kind of highlight, look at this. The slaying difference. Nero 48 and 28 for the loss. Everyone got 30 plus kills on the Raven side. Sib went 23 and 44. Neptune went 29 and 41. Ghosty carried them out to finish this series. 140 seconds in Hill. 37 and 33, a brilliant. Without Ghosty in this map, we go to game 5. Easily. We go to game 5. So a really good showing there from Ghosty in map 4. And a really good showing from Nero, of course. He did have 80 seconds in the hill. He had a really good map here, but obviously wasn't able to pick out the win. And Ravens are starting to slow down a bit even on the online department. I think that honeymoon phase of Exceed being in the team has kind of gone. We'll have to see how they do going forward. Obviously, we'll talk about their second series shortly. Then we have Optic versus Miami. Optic had 2 games this weekend, Miami and Cloud9. I actually did predict an Optic loss here. And after map 1, it was looking likely. But we're going to watch the round 11 here. This was obviously this round 11. If Miami win this, we go 2-0 down, it's done.
We've seen one attack here from the B-bomb site, and the Heretics has been successful. No trophies, no problem. The smoke once again from Trakes. He has a Semtex to play with as well. That will clean out Tin. Through the smoke, nothing but damage. Hook, the trades are good. Mercury's on the close corner. 20 seconds to go. Dashy on the heading. Shotzi guns him through mid.
First of all, I was shocked that Shotzi actually got that kill, because I watched this game on Saturday night. I did watch this one. I was shocked that Shotzi actually managed to get that kill on the Miami player. I mean, look, I'm not complaining. Of course I'm not, but I was just a bit surprised, to be honest. And then we go to Sunday's games. So we start with Riyadh Falcons versus Carolina Royal Ravens. Now, with this one, I was kind of expecting a closer series than it was. The overload, yeah, that was a little close. But kill department, absolutely not. 3-0 here, Falcons. Really good weekend from Falcons, and that is why they're also on the thumbnail. I am going to give credit where credit's due to Falcons. Really good weekend. All four players here played pretty well, especially Celium, who I think Celium will be my MVP of the weekend, actually. Yeah, we haven't done MVP of the weekend for quite a while now. I don't even know if I've done it this season, but I'm going to give it to Celium. He had a really good weekend here. Exceed and Nero .7's not ideal, especially as they have been really, really good recently for the Royal Ravens. But Falcons 3-0, 2-2 for the bracket now are much better and kind of where you would expect the Falcons to be as well in terms of winning more series. They've obviously got 3 more games of this split, so they'll have to obviously get something else. They can't get 2 wins, that probably won't be enough. What I will say, obviously, is there's only going to be 5 online matches for the rest of the season after split 3 and 4, but obviously there is going to be the minor tournaments. Now, this is why we have a roster change, because we have Vancouver Surge versus Boston Breach. Yeah, Breach obviously in a bit of bad form, but I did expect Breach to win this. But after that first map, 250-78, good shit from the Surge, credit where it's due, good series. Gwyn, Lunas, TJ, Abe. Nasty again carrying the team. Cammy rough one, he's been dropped. They have brought in SPART. We will talk about that in a second. But yeah, we're going to talk positive on the Surge first. This was looked a lot better for Surge. But I do not see this Vancouver Surge team having a single chance against a top 3, top 4 team. Your Optic, your Thieves, your FaZe. Those teams, I don't see them having a chance against them. So they have to pick up the points here against teams like Boston, Ravens, Cloud9, you know, those type of teams they have to be beaten, and they do beat Breach here to go 1-2. Breach go 1-3. And we have our first roster move of the stage. Oh wait, no, sorry, second because Real got dropped. But Spart is here.
That's good.
Just feels really awkward that. I think that's just probably a bit of nerves.
That's it, Eric? Was good, G? Yeah,
Purge has a bit of aura about him, I'm not gonna lie. Straight up, he has got a bit of aura. But yeah, looking at it, like, yeah, I think a move was good. Obviously, Spart's been part of the Bush squad, so the Bush players and the Bush, like, they're disappointed to let him go, but they've probably got a little bit of money from it, and obviously it's a good move for Spart. Better than going for the, obviously decline the Cloud9 offer, which I think was definitely the right thing to do. And yeah, there was a roster change, and I think especially with 2 teams not going to Birmingham in Major 2, I think they definitely needed to get a roster change in before it's too late. Talk about rosters. Cloud9, 3-0 here, Optic. Credit where it's due, the Overlord 6-5, alright, pretty close in the Overlord. Optic didn't really have a good series. Mercules and Shotzi did, obviously. The rest of them not so much. Mercules has been really good in recent weeks. Optic 4-0, looking strong here in the online phase. Obviously, were runners up at Major 1. I'm expecting a good Major 2 from the Green Wall as well. I mean, look at Shotzi here on that map 1.52, but then, sorry, Mercules. Mercules with a 13-4 on that S&D. Everyone else negative on the Optic side. Mercules, though, he called game. Yeah, Cloud9, honestly, they're trying their best. But if we look at who else they've got, huh? That can't be right. Yeah, that's a glitch because you don't play. Surely you don't play every single team, right? Wait, what? Wait. You play wait, chat. This is the first time I've been aware of this. There is no way you play every single team. I mean, it would make sense. It would be fair because two teams don't qualify. But we'll look into that after we've talked about our last series because that is fucking groundbreaking news for me. G2 FaZe. And it's G2 that win again. Now, Mamba was talking big after the game, but he did drop a 0.7. G2 and FaZe have played quite a lot of games together this season. And they have played quite a lot. And fair play to G2 because accepting the losers match at the major, they've fucking done really well. G2, like really, really, really fucking well done to them. Like seriously, because I actually am genuinely impressed. Like, I just don't know. I just didn't really expect it from them, type of thing. This season, I can't remember if I predicted them to get into champs or not. I might not have, honestly. They should be fine. They're really good, G2. I'm really impressed. The S&D to finish out, really comfortable as well from G2. Who I do want to highlight, most improved player, Skies Bueno is up there. What a season he has had. His stock's gone right up where it deserves. I like Caesar, obviously he was on Optic last year, it didn't really work out. They brought in Mercules instead. Optic are now a fucking god squad. But yeah, he's done well. Simp and Abu's a really good series. Have been the best two players for me this season on that FaZe team, but weren't able to get the job done. But yeah, a good try nonetheless. Oh my god. Everyone plays each other. Now, I respect that because if two teams aren't going through to the next stage, I think that the only way to make that fair is by playing everyone. I didn't actually realise that everyone was playing everyone, though. I just assumed it was 7-7-5-5, but... So, that actually makes it really interesting for the online qualifiers here. So let's do our predictions for this week. Obviously I'm recording this on Thursday, so it's tomorrow. We start with Ravens Breach. Now this is one of the matches that I was talking about. It's a big game at the bottom. Obviously two teams don't go to the major at all. Will Breach have that SPART not new manager bounce, new player bounce? Yeah, they are gonna have it. I've got Breach winning this one 3-1. Let's see if they can do it. Falcons FaZe, Celium versus Simp. 3-1 FaZe. I think obviously FaZe will need a little bit of a bounce back after that G2 series, but I have got FaZe winning this one. Gentlemaids versus Cloud9 3-0. Let's move on. That's Friday's games. Ooh! Why did I also go Tony Day there? Falcons G2, by the way, right. Honestly, I'm just going to say it now. These 4 matches on Saturday are bangers. Even though we have got an absolute shit one as third. That's not the point. Falcons G2. Let's go with 3. We'll go on game 5 to start the evening off on that Saturday. G2 3-2 here to beat the Falcons. Let's see it if that happens. That's what I'm going to go with as my prediction. Koi versus Heretics. Spanish Derby. Obviously, Real's not even on the roster anymore. Crazy. 3-1 here to Miami. Miami should comfortably beat Koi. Koi need to win this though because they will be 1-4. Obviously, you're going to play 11 online qualifiers this stage. So most weeks you will play 2. Some weeks you will only play 1 though. No, I think you'll have 5 lots of 2, and then 1 week where you'll play 1. But Koi would be 1-4 here if they lost this one, going into their Sunday game against Gentlemates, which I expect them to lose. If they go 1-5, they are in a bit of trouble. Because they still have to play Optic, they still have to pay... Do they have to play... No, they've played FaZe, I think. But they have to play Optic. You know, it's not going to be easy. Surge Ravens, Battle of the Shitters, but I've got Ravens winning this one 3-1. I think Nero goes big. And then we have Optic versus Thieves. Both teams are 4-0 currently. The best two teams, two of the best teams in the game with Gentlemates and FaZe. They're like the main 4, but Gentlemates, Thieves, and Optic are the big 3 at the moment. I'm going to go with 3-1 though here to Optic. I think Optic will win. I think this is going to be a bit of a difficult series for Nuim. Just because obviously he hasn't played Optic before. Obviously he's part of the Huntsman, but they played like a LAN game on stream, but that's different. Koi Gentlemates, 3-1 here, Gentlemates. Koi will take a map. You've got to remember that Koi have still got a very talented team. They're just not showing it. FaZe Vegas versus Boston Breach. I'm going to go with 3-1 to FaZe. I think FaZe will get 2 wins this weekend, which is what they need to get back on track. Miami versus Cloud9. Yeah, nah. Miami are a good S&D team. I'm going to go 3-1. So 3-0 here to Miami. Unfortunately, Cloud9 will lose. I think Cloud9 will probably go 0-11 or 1-10 at a push in online split and won't qualify for the event. And I know it's shit to say that. I don't like putting a team down, but it's not there. It's not the players' fault. They're giving it a good try. To finish off the weekend, we don't really have the most exciting match. We have got Vancouver Surge versus Optic Texas. This should be a comfortable win for Optic, but I'm going to go with 3-1. I think Surge will take a map and maybe make it a little difficult for Optic, but Optic should get the job done. Right, so before we talk about Siege, we're going to do our MVP ladder and Rookie of the Year ladder pretty quickly. Obviously we do take the webcam off. For that, so in terms of the Rookie of the Year ladder, we haven't made any changes to it, except we have put the Cloud9 players obviously just ahead of Legend. At this moment in time, I've not ordered the Cloud9 players. There isn't a standout. So we're just going to call them the Cloud9 players. So we'll just put Cloud9, 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 yeah. Maybe that's a bit harsh on them, I don't know, but whatever. We have made a couple of changes to the MVP ladder. In terms of the top 3, there is a change. I've decided to put Mercules back in the top 3. I have kept Neptune and Ghostly at 1 and 2. Part of me was tempted to maybe put Ghostly back to number 1, but that Neptune MVP at the major has kind of kept him at number 1. If we do 10 to 1, so Abuza's in 10th, Scraps up to 9th, Shotzi's in 8th, Celium's in 7th, Dashy's in 6th, Sib is now down to 5th, and I've put Simp and Mercules in 4th and 3rd. Oh, also, sorry, Nuim is on the Rookie of the Year ladder as well. I forgot about Nuim. And Kips is there as well now. So, we'll go back to that. I've messed that up. I was just looking at my notes there. Obviously, there is 12 rookies now that have been in the league this season. So, Legend and one of the Cloud9 players isn't going to be on the list. I'm going to go with Orcus just because I know he dropped a 0.6. He's not going to be on the top 10 for now. I have actually decided to put Kips in 6th ahead of Abe and Nuim in 5th ahead of Kips. I've kept it as Mamba, Trakes, Lurks and Craze for now, but like I said, that'll probably have changed a lot by Major 2, by the end of Major 2. Right. So, let's talk Rainbow Six Siege. Obviously, just a brief a quick one. Obviously, well done to wrong webcam. Well done to FaZe on winning the Siege Invitational. I watched a little bit of the final against Team Secret. Team Secret went on a very nice losers run, knocking out FALCONS on the way as well. So a good showing, but FaZe were just very dominant in this grand finals. It was a shame we wanted to see a good series, but well done to FaZe. Obviously, that Brazilian R6, just fantastic. Now let's talk about the proper Rainbow Six Siege. Siege Showdown 1. So, first of all, if you're not aware, as a joke, we were gonna have the thumbnail as this. Alright? You can't see it. We were going to have the thumbnail as a joke. We were going to have this as the thumbnail with me on the thumbnail. This was when I was in Spain in August with my mates. Hands on the hips. Decided not to do that. I just didn't want to kind of ruin the vibe of the roundup for one silly thumbnail. Maybe again, because we are going to be doing another Siege custom game like this. We'll talk about how it was and that. What's your thoughts on that thumbnail? So basically, what happened? We'll keep this thumbnail. We'll keep this picture on whilst we talk about it. So there was 8 of us, so we're gonna do a custom game. It was all arranged. We're gonna do best of 3. We're gonna do competitive rules, stuff like that. So we're gonna make it like a proper competitive match. It wasn't just a mess about. This was a proper custom game. So the players that were in, obviously me, TK, Daggers, Sport, Mason, Finbobs, Leon, and Yoshi. They were the 8 players. What I asked TK to do with Daggers was I said like rank them all 1 to 8. So it was the TK's first, Daggers second, I'm third. Sport, Mason, Leon, Finn. Oh, Finn, Leon. Them 2 were the same. And then Yoshi. So then we wanted to have it so like 1, 4, 1, 4, 5, 8 on a team, and then 2, 3, 6, 7. That's twice I've now said that this video. And I got out of saying it, by the way, in a different series. So we're going to do best of 3 maps. We let them have map pick first. They went for Coastline, we went for Bank, and then we did a randomizer for the decider, which was Oregon. Obviously, best of 3, if we won the first 2 maps, if any team won the first 2 maps, we did not have to do a 3rd map. And to be honest, I was really looking forward to it. I really wanted to win. It was a really good series. Now, I don't have a screenshot of the second map, but I'll talk about this. The second series was a very good series, and it showed why the teams are fair. The first one, though, which was their map pick, was a blowout. And obviously here I am, 8-0, 2 assists, very comfortable here on Coastline. The kills were just there for me, type of thing. Like, obviously TK is a very good player, like he is like way better than I am. But again, like I killed him a couple of times in that custom game. No offense to Yoshi, obviously he's still learning the game, but he was a pretty easy kill every round for our team. But a shout out to my teammates here for helping me on that first map. Daggers, Leon, and Finbobs. Especially Daggers, because on the second map, which was Bank, I picked Bank, by the way. I chose it, Team Spud. I chose it, not our team. I chose Bank. They agreed to it. Honestly, I didn't have my best of maps. We ended up winning the series in overtime, match point 4-3. But I think I went 4 and 5, not with a couple of assists, so not my best showing. Daggers got double digits in the kills. I think TK got double digits for his team, so shout out to those 2. But we won, we were in basement. I honestly went for a crazy play where I was sat on top of the bomb with 2 claymores. So if Mason, who was the last one alive, was able to get me, he wouldn't have had time to shoot them and then defuse the bomb. So it was a win-win situation for us, a very good defending round. But it was a very good custom game, and I thought the teams were very fair. Obviously, the second map showed that, the first one not so much. So we never went for that Oregon decider. But obviously, Spud Showdown 1 champions are... No, sorry, Siege Showdown champions, Showdown 1 champions, and myself, Daggers, Leon, and Finbob. So shout out to them. Great teammates. And we are definitely going to be doing another one another time. But it was really fun, and I had a lot... I honestly had... It was a good laugh. But obviously, it was very serious. And that's what I liked about it, the fact that we could be serious about it. Because I really wanted to win. To be honest, like, for me, winning was very important in a game like that. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this episode of the Roundup. Actually been quite a long one. We've talked about Siege there for a bit, and yeah, I enjoyed this episode of the Roundup. I hope you guys have as well. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the games this weekend. We will also have a Spud Ball video coming out next week, where we do our Champions League predictions for the rest of the season and Europa and Conference. Alright, Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.